Hello, my name is Matthias, and welcome to the FPL Scope and the weekly wildcard draft for Game Week 2. If you're new to this channel, this is something that I do every single game week, where I try to select what I think is the best squad to have in Fantasy Premier League going forward in the next few game weeks. I'm basically pretending to do a wildcard, even though I'm not. I'm saving my wildcard personally for Game Week 4, or maybe even beyond that. We'll see what happens with me in the future. But yeah, this is something that will happen every single game week. I'll present the best squad currently in FPL within the framework of a £100 million squad for now, and then eventually a little higher value basically. But this squad that I'm presenting to you guys will be 100 million exactly. So yeah, first and foremost, it's been one game week. Not sure, maybe you are someone that is looking to wildcard already, or maybe you're just interested to see who are the best players to have currently if you're looking to transfer, or just like, yeah, get confirmation of which players to go for currently in FPL. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to present my squad 1 through 15, the number 1 player that I present to you guys being the most important player to have currently in FPL in my estimation. And then I'm going to go through the squad from the most valuable to least valuable member of the 15-man squad, basically. So yeah, you'll get it as we go along, basically. Number 1 pick is still going to be Erling Braut Haaland. I say still because he wasn't number 1 pick, even though he wasn't number 1 pick last time around. But yeah, he blanked, didn't really have the best game week 1, didn't punish the unbelievers, and now most people will not even captain him in game week 2, even those that have him, like me. So yeah, his value is not quite as high, but of course, everyone that started without him are still looking for ways to bring him in for game week 3, whether that's through a free hit or a wildcard. So if you're wildcarding now and using your wildcard chip, definitely have Haaland in the squad for that game week 3 fixture against Coventry. That could even be a good triple captaincy option potentially if Haaland shows some promise against Crystal Palace. He did look like he was a bit out of it with his new hair, I guess. Like he shaved off all of his hair and lost all of his powers potentially. That's what Zlatan says at least. But yeah, he had a massive chance to score, really beautifully set up by Nico O'Reilly. But Haaland didn't really know whether he should header it or if he should shoot it with his leg, and basically ended up doing nothing. So yeah, blanking there, Haaland, and City didn't look too good, but still, it is Erling Haaland. He could all of a sudden score a hat-trick in the next game and the next game after that as well. He's typically that explosive of a player, and since he is by far the best captaincy option in Game Week 3 against Coventry at home, he belongs in this squad as the number 1 pick currently, in my opinion. Number 2, I've gone with João Pedro, who looks absolutely amazing, even better than what we expected from before the season. He was part of a really good front trio for Chelsea with him, Morgan Rogers, and of course Cole Palmer, who looks also really good. So João Pedro, how he is 7.5, I do not know. How I started to have doubts about him 2 weeks or something before deadline, I don't know, because he is every bit as good as advertised, and yeah, looks like a really essential player. Maybe not someone you can captain each and every game week, but honestly, I'm looking at both this game week against Brighton at home and in game week 4 against Hull at home. He could be a really good captain's option. Of course, people would defer to Cole Palmer, who's the penalty taker and is sort of more involved in everything that Chelsea do, but João Pedro is a fantastic option who you could definitely have as a captaincy, low-key captaincy shout, as he was in game week 1, where he was basically the only captaincy shout that was worth a damn. All the other ones blanked, basically. But yeah, João Pedro, fantastic asset at number 2 in this draft. Number 3, I've gone with Christos Tzolis, and I'm going to go pretty hard on this pick, actually. I think from what I've seen, this is a new, we lost Salah last season, and we sort of have a new guy to be the heir of the throne, I think, eventually. That's how highly I think of Tzolis in the future. And even now, he looks like a really good player. It was really unlucky to not have more than 6 points on his debut in the Premier League. He looks every bit as good as advertised as well. He is, just a really good pick. For 6.5, having an Arsenal attacker who looks really good, and the team looks really good as well. For me, it's pretty much a no-brainer. I think he can be a magnificent player for years to come in FPL, and I think everyone should be on board already on the bandwagon. If you're not, you're going to be left in the dust, I think, because he's going to be an amazing addition to FPL this season. So yeah, Tzolis, the fixtures aren't ideal, but it is Arsenal. All fixtures are basically ideal because Arsenal are still the best team in the league. They are expected to win the title again. And part of that is because Tzolis is a lot better than what they had previously in Trossard and Martinelli. I think he's going to be, magnificent for Arsenal this season. So Tzolis, really high on him. Nothing that I saw from Game Week 1 makes me believe less in him. So he's gone up from number 5 pick last drafts before the deadline, basically, for Game Week 1, up to number 3 now for me, because I think he is, yeah, just amazing value at 6.5. Next up, we still have Bruno Fernandes. He was number 1 pick last time around before Game Week 1, because I thought he was going to be the best captain's option, at least in Game Week 2, and maybe even Game Week 1, where I went away from him as captain, actually. But still, I did fear him in that game against Hull, but then Man United looked really, really bad. But still, he is my favorite captaincy option in Game Week 2 against Ipswich at home. After that, you can just sell him. He is a very easy guy to sell, and you can earn money to go from him to Cole Palmer, for example, in Game Week 4. And then you'll have more money to spend on your squad. But until then, you'll have a really good captaincy option. So more of a short-term pick, Fernandes. That's why he's going to be lower and lower in the rankings. Especially if he blanks again against Ipswich, he's probably going to be out of the wildcard draft entirely. And he might even be out, even if he does really well against Ipswich, because he has like not the best fixtures after that Ipswich at home fixture. So yeah, we had him from Game Week 1 to play against Hull and Ipswich. First game failed for both Man United and Fernandes, but he still gets another chance at home to an Ipswich team where we think Man United will do a lot better. Man United also under Carrick last season were much better at home than they were away, so I'm expecting big things, and I'm captaining Bruno Fernandes this game week, and that's basically why he's the number 4 pick in this draft, because I need him as captain for this upcoming game week. But like I said, João Pedro against Brighton at home could easily be a good captaincy choice. Haaland against Crystal Palace away, also a decent choice. And even Tzolis against Aston Villa. Like, we saw how bad Aston Villa were in Game Week 1. I wouldn't be too opposed to that either. So yeah, all these 4 players are pretty good captaincy options, but I think Fernandes is the best one against Ipswich at home. So yeah, he's number 4 in this draft. Number 5, Calafiori from Arsenal. He was also amazing in the first game. Got an assist, a really nice assist, by the way, to Havertz, and looked every bit as good as we wanted him to be for Game Week 1. So for me, pretty simply the best defender in the game right now. He offers both attacking threat and has that great Arsenal defense that he can lean on in terms of getting clean sheet points and stuff. So yeah, Calafiori is the best of both worlds. He's pretty cheap as well at 5.5 for a starting defender for Arsenal. We know Gabriel is 8.0 comparatively, so Calafiori is just much better value at that point. And I also think he's better value than another Arsenal defender who I'll talk about later on, because he has that attacking threat and could even get DEFCON points at some point as well, Calafiori. So yeah, he comes in at number 5. Number 6, Dominic Szoboszlai. He looks set to be on penalties for Liverpool, judging by both him taking the penalty against Newcastle and then also the comments afterwards from Andoni Iraola. When the penalty was taken against Newcastle, I was thinking, it's just because Isak, like, the moment would be too big for him. It would be too much to lose for Isak if he had missed that at his old stomping grounds at St. James's Park. It would have been too much pressure on him. So for me, it felt like Szoboszlai was set to take this one, because Isak, like, it was just too much for him. But usually Isak could be a better penalty taker option. And for what it's worth, I don't think like it's settled that Szoboszlai is going to be the penalty taker, but he did take one. And also the comments afterwards from Andoni Iraola saying that Szoboszlai's penalty was basically unstoppable. It's kind of interesting to see Szoboszlai's penalty taking shot, basically, and he always shoots it to his top left, basically, most of the time. But it goes in most of the time as well, because he is just that good. He knows exactly what he's doing, and even if the goalkeeper knows exactly what he's doing, it can't be stopped, because he has such a good shot on him, and he's, yeah, both accurate and powerful with his finishing. So, yeah, Szoboszlai on penalties. He is on set pieces as well. We saw Wirtz, who takes some of the corners. He was subbed off after about 60 minutes, so Szoboszlai will have even more set pieces later on in the game as well. So another preseason pick who looked really, really good before the preseason games, basically. He looked like someone that was an absolute steal at 7.0 when the game launched. He is even better value, it seems like, because he is most likely the penalty taker for Liverpool. So he has to come into the squad now as the number 6 pick. Number 7, Nico O'Reilly. I still stand with him, despite him getting subbed off with a blank against Bournemouth in Game Week 1. He was that damn close to getting the assist for Haaland. He looked pretty lively and good as well, playing in an attacking midfield position. Like, if people had told me before Game Week 1 that he was going to play attacking mid, I would 100% have him in my squad, which I did, to be fair. But I'm not quite sure if he's going to play attacking mid next time as well, but he is, yeah, most likely going to play. I think the fact that he was subbed off early is not due to him being bad. It's just due to him coming back late from preseason, basically. So he wasn't really ready to play in 90 minutes. I still think he's a starter level player. And I think with the backline that Man City started with last time, I think he could easily come in at left back and playing Guardiola at left center back instead. So I do expect Nico O'Reilly to play, and if he plays, he's going to be a really attacking and fun player to have. He's going to join the midfield, and he might even play some midfield minutes as well, as we saw in Game Week 1. Sadly for me and for anyone else that had him, to no avail, basically, because he was subbed off with a blank and 2 points after about 63 minutes. But yeah, next time, I think it will be better. I think he'll get more and more minutes as the season goes along, and he's going to play an attacking role for Man City, and that is quite, yeah, that's worth quite a lot of points, I think, eventually this season. So yeah, Nico Riley still in the team at number 7, but if he shows any inclination that he's not fully in the starting lineup for City, he is easily someone you can sell for 6.5 and get some money back for a cheaper defender. But yeah, for now, I think his attacking upside, like his upside in general, is just too high to ignore. And with the 2 good fixtures against Crystal Palace away and Coventry at home now, also we're good to see what happens. And Man United as well, who looked really bad in Game Week 1. The fixtures are pretty good for Man City, so O'Reilly for me is still in the squad at number 7. Number 8, we have Iliman Ndiaye from Everton, also a new player since last time. He is, of course, on penalties, didn't take a penalty in Game Week 1, but he looked magnificent. He had a lot of chances. He could have scored even more goals in that game. He did get an assist at least, so he also got DEFCON points. He also got bonus points. He has so many routes to points, Ndiaye, as a penalty taker, open play threat, assist threat, DEFCON potential. Like, he has it all, Iliman Ndiaye. So do really like him. Also, the fact that we saw both Man United and Spurs struggle really badly in Game Week 1 makes the fixtures look a lot better as well. I haven't quite changed the colors of the fixtures. Man United at home is still counted as a difficult fixture, as a red fixture. Spurs away is still counted as a gray fixture, but both of those 2 teams looked pretty bad in Game Week 1. So Iliman Ndiaye could take advantage of that before he plays Ipswich and then Hull, I think, in the following game week. So for the long term, Ndiaye is good. For the short term, he also looks really good. Just so many routes to points, and for a really cheap price of 6 million, I think he is too good to go away from, basically. So Ndiaye coming in at number 8 in this draft. Number 9, Morgan Rogers from Chelsea. I think the double up is worthwhile, even though they have Arsenal away in Game Week 3. They do have Brighton at home in Game Week 2. Will be interesting to see how that game goes, basically. But Chelsea looked very, like, electric and fantastic to watch offensively. I was actually at the game at Fulham Chelsea in the stadium, and yeah, it was a joy to watch Chelsea play offensive football under Xabi Alonso, and I think doubling up with them and potentially tripling up in Game Week 4 as well when you sell Fernandes to Cole Palmer is the way to go. So Rogers, 7.5, another player with, yeah, great value, just like João Pedro. He's not quite as valuable as João Pedro in my view because, yeah, as you can see, João Pedro is ranked as number 2 and Rogers is ranked as number 9, even though Rogers gets a point more for every goal that he scores as a midfielder, and he also gets clean sheet points, which João Pedro does not do. But Rogers looks great. Chelsea look great. I think Brighton at home and Hull at home, especially in Game Week 4, are going to be really good fixtures. So Rogers is in the squad at the number 9 pick in this draft. Number 10, I've gone with Estri Konsa for Arsenal. 4.5 for an Arsenal defender who's going to play most games is, yeah, just too good to be true, really. The only thing with Konsa is the fact that he doesn't really get any other type of points. Like, he doesn't get too many assists, doesn't get too many goals, doesn't really get DEFCON points. He doesn't really get too much else. But for a defender, for Arsenal, to be 4.5, and he's going to start all the way up until the new year at least, and maybe longer until Saliba's back. Yeah, that value is just magnificent. So you just can't go without him, really. I mean, the one big drawback, I think, because people are sort of penciling him in as like a must-own pick to have defensively, or in general for Arsenal, but he does take up that 3rd Arsenal spot, and I think there are some other good Arsenal players available. Potentially you could want to bring or spend more money if you want to have, if Ben White still plays right back, he could be a better option until Timber is back, and when Timber is back, he could also be a better option. But just like the value difference, like Timber is 6.5, Gabriel Magalhaes is 8.0. Like, it is such a big price difference for Konsa, who was counted as an Aston Villa defender, and now he's at Arsenal. The value is just too good. But yeah, for me, the one omission that I was like struggling with was Martin Ødegaard, who looked fantastic in Game Week 1. I was tempted to go with the double up in Arsenal attack. Also Kai Havertz, who played 90 minutes in Game Week 1. Gyökeres didn't play a single lick of minutes. Those 2 players are really good assets. Even Saka looked a bit better as well than he did last season. So I think there are attacking options at Arsenal that makes me a little bit more hesitant to Konsa. I do think Calafiori and Tzolis are just better picks right now, but Konsa is, yeah, great value at 4.5, and that makes him a shoe-in for this draft. Not really a shoe-in. He's number 10, and I did give you reasons to not go with him, but he's a really simple choice at number 10, really, for that price. So yeah, Konsa is in this draft. Number 11, I got my Bart Verbruggen in goal. Don't really know why I was so high on Kinski compared to Verbruggen when Spurs have just shown to not be that good of a team. It is early, of course, in the season. We don't really know how the season will develop and how Spurs will develop, and Brighton also have European football, which will affect them a bit. But for now, Brighton looks like a much better team than Spurs, and Verbruggen is just therefore a much better goalkeeper for 4.5 than Kinski. But yeah, Verbruggen, not like the most nailed player either in the draft, because I don't really think any goalkeeper is that valuable. Verbruggen, though, could be good, showed his worth in Game Week 1, or Brighton showed their worth in Game Week 1, not conceding in that game against Aston Villa. So we'll see how they look against Chelsea away, a really tough test for them now in Game Week 2. But yeah, you're just going to have to stick it out with Verbruggen in that game if you do pick him, because that's always going to happen with goalkeepers. You don't want to do goalkeeper transfers. You don't want to do the rotating goalkeepers. So sometimes you play teams like Chelsea and Arsenal, which Verbruggen will do in the next 4 game weeks. That's just what happens, basically. Hopefully for him, he can get some saves, but he is in at number 11. Number 12, we have Luke Shaw still for Man United. Gone down from Maguire at 5.0 to Shaw at 4.5 because I don't really trust Man United as much, so I don't want to spend quite as much on a defender there. Shaw also has some nice dangerous crosses in Game Week 1. Man United could still get a left back for the future, but even then, Shaw is more of a short-term pick you want for the game against Ipswich at home. After that, you can just bench him most game weeks because you're going to have Calafiori, O'Reilly, and Konsa ready to play every single game you need them to. So yeah, it's not really that important for Shaw to be that good, but I have him in Game Week 2 against Ipswich at home. I think that's going to be a good fixture for him. So yeah, Shaw coming in at number 12 in this draft. Even though Man United didn't look the best, they still have at least one really good fixture in the next game week. So yeah, Shaw coming in at number 12. Number 13, Bobby Thomas also has a good fixture in Game Week 2 against Hull at home. I think it's just good value. He did get DEFCON points in Game Week 1, was the only player from Coventry who did, I think, at least in defense. So yeah, he is really good for DEFCON points. He is someone that could score and assist for Coventry. We'll see how good they are when they don't face the best team in the league. Maybe they are a lot better than they got to show in the first game week because they played, yeah, just a really tough opponent. So Hull at home could be an interesting fixture. I would definitely start Thomas. So that makes me a bit more hesitant when it comes to Shaw. Maybe I am not going to go with Shaw, but I think Konsa is not going to start either. So yeah, it depends what you want to do with the starting lineup, but I think Thomas is a really good option in Game Week 2 as well. So yeah, but long term, even he is a decent guy for 4.0. He's going to get the FCON points and just going to be a safe starter if you need him to be, or you can just have him on the bench as the cheapest possible defender, which is also good. So yeah, Thomas has a couple of different uses as the number 13 pick. Number 14, just going with Lecomte in goal for Fulham. He's the backup goalkeeper behind Bernd Leno. Bernd Leno also isn't the best goalkeeper, so maybe Lecomte gets the chance at some point. I don't know, but I just picked the 4.0 goalkeeper that I think has the best chance to get some minutes eventually. And at least he is a 4.0 backup goalkeeper who is actually the reserve goalkeeper. For all the 3 promoted teams, basically, they have 4.5 backup goalkeepers, so that's not good. And not that many other teams have a solid 4.0 option. You could, of course, go with someone like Steele from Brighton, who is the backup to Verbruggen, but I don't like using up a Brighton spot when they looked really good in Game Week 1. And you could go for several more Brighton players. I gone with no Brighton players, basically, in this, apart from Verbruggen, which is kind of crazy, but at the same time, they have tougher fixtures coming up. But yeah, Lecomte, just a backup goalkeeper for 4.0. And up top, Walle Egeli as well. Did only get 10 minutes in Game Week 1, a bit disappointing. Was expecting him to get more minutes from the start of the season, but yeah, he's also just bench fodder for 4.5 at the number 15th pick, basically, as it was last week. But as you can see, there are a lot of new names here with green, or a lot of new players here with green names. That was more difficult to say than I expected. Verbruggen, Lecomte, Konsa, Shaw, Szoboszlai, Ndiaye, and Rogers are all new. 7 new players coming in, which means 7 players have dropped out as well. So let's check out who those guys are. First and foremost, Bryan Mbeumo has been dropped after a bit of a disappointing Game Week 1. Mbeumo was actually the most likely scorer from Man United. He had a couple of chances, was one-on-one through with the goalkeeper and missed. Had 2 other volleys that could have been goals as well. So Mbeumo actually had like a decent game in terms of FPL potential. But I just think it's too much to go for so many Man United players when they have already now played their whole game. They only have Ipswich, and then Everton away is pretty tough. Man City at home is pretty tough. Fulham away could be high scoring, could be a good game, but yeah, I think selling Man United assets is the way to go currently with how bad they looked in Game Week 1. Maybe they just had a new manager bounce under Carrick last season, and now they're going to come back down to earth and struggle a bit. It certainly looked like that in Game Week 1, losing against Hull, who everyone has expected to go down. So yeah, dropped out Mbeumo just because Man United don't look quite as good, and I think Fernandes is still the better captaincy option in Game Week 2. So yeah, Mbeumo drops out. Nico Williams might be injured. I think he had to be subbed off with an injury in the League Cup game now. And also, like, he is also, 5.0. I think he's still a good defender. If he's fit to play, I don't mind having him in my squad like I do. But yeah, he looked decent in Game Week 1. Could have easily had a 9-pointer. They had a clean sheet up until the 88th minute or something like that. And Anton Stach scored a free kick. That was a really bad free kick, but Matsels just flubbed it into his own net, basically, or wasn't able to save it. And that deleted the clean sheet for Nottingham Forest and also removed some bonus points for Nico Williams, who would have had a huge haul if not for that. But with the injury now as well, and also some other good defenders showing up in Konsa, Nick Williams gets dropped out after not getting any points at home to Leeds, which was looking like a good fixture and was a good fixture for clean sheets. They were unlucky not to get one, but they did concede late because Matsels is not that good of a goalkeeper. So yeah, Nick Williams has dropped out. Kinski, like I mentioned previously, Verbruggen just seems like a better option long term. That's what you want from a goalkeeper, long term safety, and that's what we have in Verbruggen. Diogo Gomez got an assist in Game Week 1 in the 4-0 win for Brighton. He's also more of a short-term pick. Once Minte and Mitoma are back into the swing of things, he's not going to be as good. And I upgraded the midfield here as well because I had some extra money with Mbeumo going down, or selling Mbeumo for cheaper players, basically. So yeah, Gomez has dropped out, but he's still a good option, of course. Ødegaard, another player who is really unlucky to be dropped out. Like I mentioned in the Konsa talk, I think Ødegaard could be a really nice differential. I don't mind having him at all, but I think now the preferred Arsenal triple up is Calafiori, Tzolis, and Konsa. And yeah, I'm going to stick to that. But it feels really bad dropping Ødegaard. Like, he's going to be amazing. I have him in my own team, really happy with him, but he had to make room for Konsa, sadly. But yeah, he is looking really good and could be amazing value this season at 6.5 as well. Harry Maguire has just been dropped down to Luke Shaw just to spend less on Man United assets because they've already played their good or their best match against Hull. Now they have Ipswich, and after that, not as many good matches. So Maguire has dropped out, even though he looked pretty good as well in Game Week 1 in terms of like getting up to like the towards the opponent's box, basically, and having some chances from outside the box to cross or shoot. But yeah, Maguire just dropped him down to Shaw for extra money. And Dubravka has been let go as backup goalkeeper because I don't want to use another Spurs spot, even though Spurs looked awful in Game Week 1. And you don't really want a Spurs spot. I don't think Dubravka as backup goalkeeper is worth it either. Even though Kitski looked really bad and could be dropped eventually this season, I don't think that's going to happen like immediately because, yeah, De Zerbi has backed him quite a lot in preseason. So yeah, Kinski is still the first goalkeeper there, so I don't want to waste a Spurs spot. I would rather waste a Fulham spot who don't look as good defensively. So yeah, those are the players that are dropped out. Now let's end the video with the 3 players that are on the cusp: 1 defender, 1 midfielder, and 1 forward that almost made the squad but didn't for one reason or another. In defense, I think Chris Richards from Crystal Palace looked really good again. He is the DEFCON guy to go for. He is playing in the central part of the backline for Palace, and he's going to get the most DEFCON points, I think. Palace also were a bit unlucky to lose that game against Everton. They had the most chances and could have easily won that game, but they ended up losing anyways. They still looked pretty good, so I think they're going to have some clean sheets this season as well under Pierre Sarge. I think they're going to be a decent team. And Richards playing in the back 3 as the central defender there. We saw that trend throughout Game Week 1. In the 5 at the back or 3 at the back type of teams, it was always the guy in the central part of the pitch, the central center back, not the left center back, not the right center back, but the central center back who got the most DEFCON involvements in general. And Richards is the one in the heart of that defense for Crystal Palace. They also lost Shadi Riyad to injury, but now they've gotten Axel Disasi as a lone player in defense. So yeah, Richards is anyways the most secure and most nailed Palace defender. He showed that last season. And he's pretty good for DEFCON points and can actually get some goals as well. So Richards is a good option there, who I did consider, but I think I just have some other really good assets right now in defense that I would rather go with. Mamadou Sangare, of course, everyone wants to dance with him right now. He's gone up in price to 5.6, so yeah, he's a bit more expensive than he was previously, but he's going to be a magnificent long-term pick. I just don't think Brighton's or Brentford's fixtures are the best immediately, but he's easily someone you can add instead of someone like Ndiaye, for example, if you want to have Just a safe, reliable backup option who you can have on your bench when need be, but could also play and provide you at least 4 points, it seems like, every single game, because he's just a DEFCON monster. Got DEFCON points in the first game week, also got 2 assists and bonus point. Yeah, Sangare is looking like a really, really good player, and I would not begrudge you whatsoever if you had him in your wildcard team. It makes total sense, but I think there's just too much upside attacking-wise in this team. I still want to go with Rodgers. I still want to go with the double up of Chelsea players against Brighton at home in Game Week 2. But yeah, could easily go have Sangare instead of him and have more money to spend elsewhere. For example, in attack, you can drop out Walle Egeli for someone like João Pedro, who looked like Newcastle's best player against Liverpool. Was really involved both as a number 10 as a number 9 for Newcastle. Could be on penalties as well. And he looked, yeah, back to his best, basically, after a really troubling first season with Newcastle. But Wissa has a lot of talent. We've seen that in the past. He's been a really good FPL forward before. And for 6.0 as the starting player for Newcastle, he's going to play 90 minutes for them. Yeah, he looks really good, and he's someone that I would also look to get potentially. So you could drop Rodgers or Ndiaye, for that matter, down to Sangare, and then go from Walle Egeli to Wissa. That would also make a lot of sense in this team. So yeah, he's another player that I would consider. But that's basically it for this video. I want to thank you for watching, and thank you for being patient with me as well, as I haven't really been able to upload that much this week either. Just a lot going on with my life, and I need to get sort of back on track. The one good piece of news, at least, is the fact that I have a new PC that I'm recording with right now. This is my first video with a new PC. Hopefully the lighting and the sound is a bit better. I've done like a couple of adjustments to make sure that it's better. Hopefully it's better, so let me know if it sounds better than before. But yeah, got a new PC which will be able to handle streams eventually, and will be able to handle like podcasts better with me and Kevin, because my old PC used to overheat and stuff. So that is going to be a plus going forward, at least. So yeah, hopefully I will be able to be more involved now from this next game week onwards. Just been very busy this summer, and there's been a lot of stuff happening, and also like my health, like my leg has had like a bit of an injury lately. So yeah, my whole like day-to-day hasn't been quite as smooth as I was hoping for this summer, but it's getting better, and I think it's going to be in a good place for the rest of the season as well. I'm going to keep making videos all the time, of course, putting my all into this, and I'm going to be finding even more ways to explore further avenues to get more viewers and evolve my content and make myself a better content creator for you guys, and a better FPL manager, hopefully, also in the process. Game week 1 wasn't too good for me. 3.7 million, as you can see below me there. Wish it was a better start, but I didn't bench boost. I still have that in hand at least. So yeah, we'll see what the future brings. But yeah, quite happy with my squad. But of course, as you see here, I've made 7 changes, so not completely happy with the squad, but yeah, it's not too bad. So I think I will have better fortunes ahead in FPL. Had a really good start with Arsenal in game week 1 on the Friday. Then after that, basically didn't get a single return until João Pedro got his goal and assist on Monday, which everyone got because everyone has him, because he's such a good asset, basically. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. The team section video will be out tomorrow as well for game week 2. Pretty straightforward with me. No benching headaches, no issues for me. I am just patiently waiting until game week 4, where I'm going to make a lot of changes. Maybe a wildcard, maybe not, but we'll see. But at least I'll have a weekly wildcard draft for you guys every single game week. I stick to that every week, and team section will also be every week. Also next week, I'm going to do the weekend wrap-up, which I didn't get to do this game week. I was in London, so I was a bit busy and haven't really gotten to it. Also have had a bit of a headache and been a bit dizzy the last few days as well, but I'm getting better and better. So yeah, onwards and upwards from here. But next week, hoping to have both the weekend wrap-up and the FPL School podcast on top of the weekly wildcard draft and the team section video for next week. So yeah, stay tuned for more. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment down below if you have any comments. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.